Hello plant lovers, this is Happy Planty. Today I'm taking over again Hentai Instagram account to share my tips and recommendations about how to care your Pileas. Today I'm gonna also answer your questions on Pileas. Before we dive into your questions, let's start to know about these lovely plants, because I haven't seen anyone yet who doesn't like Pileas. It originates from China. That's why it's known as Chinese money plant as well. One day, a plant lover took some cuttings with him on his way back to Norway, and he visited India on this journey. And this is how this plant spread. Until 80s, people had no clue on this plant. First photos of this plant have been published in 90s. After increase on social media platforms, people started to publish more photos of this plant. Because of the shape of the leaves, some people call this plant as pancake plant. Some people call it as UFO plant. And also some people call it as friendship plant because it's so easy to propagate and share with your friends. So, how do I care? It's actually so easy. To have shiny, large, green and circular leaves, first this plant should get bright indirect light. It is a must. Second is, its soil needs to be dried out between waterings, which takes around 7 days, so it's another must. But just 2 things, isn't it easy? And please, during each watering, rotate your plant towards the light, which is also a baby job, right? Let me show you my Pilea's soil so you can understand what I mean. So, as here you can see, soil looks dry. But as per my experience, it's not enough to water, because soil hasn't started to pull away from its pot. Maybe tomorrow it will be ready. If the pot is a little bigger than your Pilea, they tend to give new baby Pileas, which is so cool. So basically, Pileas don't love overcare, just let them in a bright place and wait. Now let's come to your question. If your Pilea loses bottom leaves faster than you expect, it means it is trying to tell you that it is overwatered. Every plant loses its leaves, but after a time. If you think your Pilea loses very early and so many, it means your Pilea is drowning. Please repot with fresh soil. If your Pilea is underwatered, then it shows this like peace lilies as drooping leaves. I think when it comes to Pileas, checking the leaves is a bit harder than understand it from the soil. But you can decide which one works for you. Another question was about black Pilea leaves. Unfortunately, this is also because of overwatering. Mostly what happens, first leaves become yellow, and then whether it turns to black or the leaf falls down. It's okay to put the leaf back to the soil to propagate. Unfortunately, no. To propagate, leaves should be healthy and it needs to have a very thin part of the branch. Hope you loved today's session. I tried to cover every question. See you next week, plant lovers.